Today's video is brought to you in partnership with GamerSupps.
Oh,
GamerSupps
no!
provides a healthy alternative to sugar.
Is that... What is going on? Why is it auto muting? So my Elgato is auto muting, guys. Give me a second to figure out why that's happening. Give me a second to figure out why that's happening. I am. All right, so we're working now. Yay, we'll do it live. I do not know if there's a Windows 11 update that was messing with me. It looks like I shouldn't have basically had that running, I suppose. All right, well, geez, let's do the intro the third time. How's that? I'm gonna keep an eye on you. You little. I got the mic deal pulled up here in OBS. I have it pulled up in the basically in the, what is this, the Go XLR Mini. So let's go ahead and hopefully we can get this going. And apologies, boys. It is what it is. I guess it is what it is. But today, welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Morning Show. We are going to be talking about the new release from Team Black Miner version 1.29. On top of that, we also have news of 100,000 Bitcoin mining ASIC units coming to North America that we're going to be covering, as well as a super interesting project where a user has modified an RTX 2060 to accept 12 gigabytes of video memory. We're going to talk about possibly the ramifications of that for mining. Maybe we could get some more performance out of older GPUs that have additional, slots for video memory modules. We also are going to talk about the new release from Innosilicon and their new GPU lineup, offering up to 32 gigabytes of GDDR6X, which in theory could make them some of the fastest, basically consumer-ready graphics cards on the market for mining. We're going to talk about that, as long as they don't have any light hash rate modules that are going to be, or light hash rate technology like NVIDIA does. So we're going to get into all that right after today's partnership. I call them a partner because they only pay me if you buy something. I think that's the distinction between partner and sponsor. Crypto.com, for example, pays for the pre-rolls. Anyways,
Today's video is brought to you in partnership with GamerSupps. GamerSupps provides a healthy alternative to sugary energy drinks with delicious flavors like Misfits Melon or my favorite Blue Raz. I use the GamerSupps as an alternative to support my active lifestyle outside of content creation. Caffeine-free options are great for late-night gaming after the kids have gone to bed. And my favorite part about GamerSupps is that they accept cryptocurrency, and for a limited time, when you purchase a tub with cryptocurrency, you will receive a Bitcoin shaker. Follow the affiliate link in the description, and don't forget to use code SOAT at checkout.
All right, welcome back. So first things first, as always, we like to go over the new releases for miners. It's been a pretty slow week. We had one release yesterday. We have another release today. Let's get into the patch notes for Team Black Miner 1.29. I have not done any testing on it. If you guys have done some testing on it, let me know, and we will get going from there. So let me pull this up. Bam. Done. All right. So this released 21 hours ago on the SP hash GitHub, and here are the notes. Number 1, display difficulty change in the miner window. Number 2, use ETH plus ZIL shares when calculating pool speeds and shares per minute. 3, stratum change to avoid rejected shares on easel.me and Hive on pools. This has been in their patch notes for forever, so I guess this is something that's a work in progress that they keep not getting down. I'm not sure. The default X intensity changed to 144 on NVIDIA to reduce stale/rejected shares on Hive on Pool, Crazy Pool, Flex Pool, Ethermine, and Binance pools. There was also some Binance information. I'm not going to be covering it because it's not specifically related to cryptocurrency mining, but you guys should go check that out. They did implement something to basically make the Binance coin or Binance chain coin or whatever go essentially deflationary. Go check that out. There's probably some other trading YouTubers that are covering that, just so that you're up to date on exactly what's going on with them. All right, so the next big topic that's going to be that we're going to discuss today is going to be Marathon Digital expanding Compute North hosting agreement. And so let's hop right into that one. This is coming from CoinDesk. It says Marathon Digital expands Compute North hosting agreement to more than 100K Bitcoin miners. The deal will help Marathon's operations become 77% carbon neutral. So Compute North and Marathon Digital extended their hosting agreement to more than 100,000 Bitcoin mining machines across the US, according to a statement on Wednesday. The units will be powered mostly by wind and solar energy. The agreement is an expansion of the company's previous hosting deal of 73,000 miners in May. The pact will make Marathon's mining operations not only be among the largest in North America, but also among the most efficient and most environmentally friendly, says Marathon CEO Fred Thiel. The deal will make Marathon's mining operations about 77% carbon neutral. Some of the miners are being deployed at existing data centers, while the rest will be online by mid-2022 as Compute North completes construction of its facilities. On November 2nd, Marathon said once it receives all outstanding purchase orders, it expects to have approximately 133,000 operational miners generating about 13.3 exahash per second. Its blended cost of electricity and hosting will be about 0.042 cents. So, yeah. Never mind. 4.2 cents per kilowatt hour. I don't know why I said 0.042 cents, but 4.2 cents per kilowatt hour. Marathon Digital shares climbed 6.5% in early trading on Wednesday. So if we take a look at what to mine, what are we looking at as far as that goes? Let's go ahead and pop over to ASICs. We're looking at SHA 256, and we are looking at, what is that? They said 13.3 exahash. Oh man, exahash to gigahash. Exahash to gigahash. We can do this. We can do this on the fly. Hash converter. We need exahash 13.3. That's going to give us this much gigahash right here. Let's plug that in. And then we have 133,000 miners. I think there'll probably be S19J Pros for the most part. Let's go look at that. S19J Pro. Sure, whatever. That should get us what we need. Let's see. What is that? Power consumption at this point. Hash rate, power efficiency. That's power efficiency. What is the total power? Make it easier on me here. I'm not seeing it. Come on. Power consumption of 3050 watts, 3050 watts. So let me calculate that out. 133,000 times 3,050. We're looking at like 4,650,000 watts or something ridiculous like that. Let's plug that into the calculator. And then let's plug that at 0.0, well, yeah, 42. So 4.2 cents a kilowatt hour. And let's calculate out what they're doing. So on Bitcoin before power, I think that's right. Is that even calculating that? Are we seeing a dip? I don't know. I feel like the power consumption is not getting, oh, that's why. It won't even put in all these watts, will it? Let's try to type it in again. 405, 650, 1, 2, 3. Calculate that out. There we go. Now we get the numbers. So if we are taking a look at before, you're seeing a daily profit of $4.4 million. $4,460,677 a day in revenue, and after power at 4.2 cents a kilowatt hour, you're looking at $4,419,792 in profit after power. Of course, when you're talking about an operation this big, you're going to have other expenses as well. You're going to have employee expenses, right? That's going to happen. You're going to have that sort of overhead. It's going to be insane. The taxes are going to be insane. But as of right now, that's what this farm is going to be pumping out in 2022 if the difficulty of Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin remains static from today until they get all those miners online. Pretty crazy stuff. Let's go ahead though and hop into the fun part for us GPU miners as we struggle to find any ASICs when people are buying this amount in bulk. But we have a modded Asus RTX 2060 with 12 gigabytes of memory. Shows much better performance in Watchdogs Legion at ultra settings, which is like, okay. But here's the article. While we're just a week away from the official introduction of the RTX 2060 with 12 gigabytes of memory, a modded sample of a 6 gigabyte variant has now been thoroughly tested by a Russian YouTube channel. The card tested is not identical to the upcoming SKU from NVIDIA. As we have already told you, the official model is to feature 2,176 CUDA cores, whereas the modded card features no more than 1,920 cores. So basically, we have essentially a 12 gigabyte variant coming, but this was modified previously or prior to that to basically get an idea for performance. Either way, pretty cool. In other words, the modified sample is nothing more than just an RTX 2060 with more memory, but the same clock speeds and TDP limits. The sample has been upgraded to 2 gigabytes of Samsung 14 gigabits per second modules, which is the same speed as the original 6 gigabyte model. Outside of the tests requiring more than 6 gigabytes of memory, both cards perform nearly the same, with some fluctuations in the 0.1% FPS space in games such as Far Cry 6. However, because the modded sample still has the same TDP as the original model, more power is now devoted to the memory subsystem, which might limit GPU performance to some degree. This unfortunately has not been tested by Pro High Tech, but they demonstrated that the 12 gigabyte model actually consumes less power than the 6 gigabyte model in games such as Cyberpunk. Now, the reason for that, more than likely, just to give you guys an idea, is that some of the power has been redirected from the core to those memory modules, and the memory modules probably aren't requesting as much power as the core was when it was like scaling up or boosting, right? And that's what I would assume is going on there, but it's hard to tell because also this video from High Tech, I mean, it's awesome, but it's also not in a language that I can understand, so it's hard to parse through it, and the subtitles weren't great. But probably the most interesting test is Watchdogs Legion at 1080p resolution in ultra settings with ray tracing and DLSS enabled. The modded card offers significantly better 1% and 0.1% FPS compared to the 6GB model, but it should be noted that the reviewer had to specifically target a VRAM constrained benchmark in order to see such results. So they do have the information here. There's a little bit of there's a comparison chart for you guys there. Overall, I mean, it's hard to extrapolate out any mining performance from the new card, the new variant that's coming, because obviously they are different. We are seeing, you know, basically different core counts, all that sort of stuff. But I thought this was super neat that somebody was able to do this. My question would be does that have any sort of effect on mining? Is it worth it to purchase an RTX 2060 and learn to do this process, or find somebody that would do it and actually manufacture these maybe from a third-party perspective? That would be kind of neat. I just thought it was super cool, so I want to share it with you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, or of course the live chat. Finally, we have Innosilicon and their announcement for their new GPUs. So let's go ahead and hop into this one. This will be a little bit more lengthy than the previous topics. Innosilicon launches Fantasy 1 GPU product family. Today at the Fantasy 1 GPU product press conference, Innosilicon, a Chinese company offering graphics cards and memory solutions, unveiled its first discrete GPU. At the event, Innosilicon revealed its plans for the Fantasy 1 GPU. This processor is based on Imagination Graphics IP, BXT to be specific, which brings tons of innovations to the discrete GPU solutions offered by the Chinese company. As many as 4 products have been revealed, including dual GPU and single GPU solutions. So we're talking about multi-chip GPUs, which could be awesome. That hasn't been done since, of course, AMD's, I believe it was in the Fury lineup. So it's been a while. Type A is a consumer workstation graphics card featuring a single Fantasy 1 GPU, which is actually a multi-chiplet design. Unfortunately, none of the news reports from China on this announcement had the exact configuration of the Fantasy 1. So multi-chip chiplet design, we're talking about Ryzen CPUs, at least in similarity. That's what they typically mean by chiplets, where you're going to have like the CCDs on the AMD GPUs, where they can put multiple on a single chip. Could be interesting. According to the data provided by Innosilicon, the GPU offers up to 5 teraflops of single precision compute power and 160 fill rate of G pixels. It is equipped with DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.1, and VGA connectors. This card is to be equipped with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory across a 128-bit interface. That's a pretty small bus, by the way, guys. So far, the G6X technology has been exclusive to NVIDIA and Micron Ampere GPUs, but apparently Innosilicon made a lot of research in PAM4 signaling and was able to unlock up to 19 gigabits per second of memory bandwidth for their GDDR6X implementation. So there's something important to understand here too, as far as NVIDIA and their GDDR6X implementation. Now, here's the thing. The total throughput of NVIDIA's GDDR6X can go up to 21 gigabits per second. However, because they had those memory modules on the back of the GPUs, the recent launch of that had them underclocking the memory down to 19 gigabits per second. So the current line of NVIDIA GPUs would be equivalent in speed to this upcoming line of GPUs from Innosilicon, basically due to poor PCB design, in my humble opinion, from NVIDIA. Now, we are seeing NVIDIA presumably resolve this issue with the 3090 Ti launch, as they have announced that it will get the full 21 gigabits per second. That's yet to be confirmed, of course, and we'll have to see where things go. But as it sits right now, while the total throughput is only 19 gigabits per second on these Innosilicon chips, technically that's just as fast as the NVIDIA chips because of NVIDIA basically having to gimp their own cards. All right, a relatively short memory bus will have its toll on the maximum theoretical bandwidth, and this is obviously important for mining, which is to go up to 304 gigabytes per second, so somewhere in between the 6700 XT and the 6600 XT. So this is also going to give you a little bit of a telltale sign of what our hash rate is going to be. Yes, we're probably looking at somewhere between 30 and 45 mega hash a second on these particular GPUs, just based on the current theoretical output, right? The theoretical bandwidth that we would have, which is that 304 gigabytes per second. Now, where this could be, of course, important is going to be their dual chiplet design, which could double that, right? And then on top of that, we also have that kind of question of what does that put the actual power consumption at as well. Let's go ahead and talk more. There's a lot more in this article to go over. The card on the right is an entry-level model based on Fantasy 1 GPU, which is likely featuring less memory than a dual fan solution, but those details were not included in the news report. We're talking about this one over here. The Type B, a triple fan or fanless design pictured below, is a dual GPU solution featuring two Fantasy 1 GPUs connected by an interface known as Innolink. The company claims up to 10 teraflops of computing power and 320 gigapixels fill rates. This card can offer 32 simultaneous 1080p 60 FPS streams or 64 streams at 720 30 FPS. It is to feature up to 32 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory, but is again limited by dual 128-bit interfaces from each GPU. All these cards feature PCIe Express 4.0. Essentially, you would be doubling. So because you're going to have two separate interfaces, you would be doubling essentially the power or the theoretical bandwidth. So you're talking about probably 608 gigabytes a second. It'll be faster than like a 6800 and 6900 XT, but it won't be, you know, as fast as maybe something from NVIDIA. Should be interesting. What is that? Total is 256 bits. Yeah. So there you go. Among many IPs that have been enabled on this GPU are graphics APIs, including OpenGL, OpenGL ES, OpenCL, excuse me, Vulkan, and DirectX. Obviously, the DirectX support is probably the most interesting announcement here. Unfortunately, the company did not confirm which version specifically of Microsoft graphics API is supported. I don't think that's that interesting. I feel like if you're going to release a graphics card, you have to support that, but I don't know. The GPUs were live demoed at the event, which included benchmarking with Unigine Heaven OpenGL demo. Unfortunately, no scores from these tests were reported by any Chinese news outlet. The company already confirmed it is working on Fantasy 2 and 3 GPU families, which are to be unveiled next year. Innosilicon has plans to utilize 5 nanometer process technology for these GPUs. The process technology of Fantasy 1 GPU, however, has again not been confirmed by any news outlet. A close-up of the Fantasy 1 GPU, including diagrams featuring 9 GPU cores. You got all that. And Imagination and Innosilicon announced a collaboration in October of last year. Imagination confirmed that they will license BXT design to the Chinese company, which is to offer up to 6 teraflops of single precision compute power. Those numbers are slightly higher than the Fantasy 1 GPU. You know, while the memory bus is disappointing on at least the Fantasy 1, we have the Fantasy 2 and 3 to look forward to. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a low-level card that also has a dual GPU solution, which is interesting, or if this is more of a high-level card and we are going to be seeing smaller memory bus on these chips, right? But we are going to be looking at, presumably, theoretically, between 40 mega hash and 80 mega hash, depending on the unit, right? So at the high end and the low end, as far as whether you got a single or a dual. Pricing obviously is going to be important here. My assumption too is on the dual GPU, I would worry a little bit about power consumption, especially from a mining perspective, because you are going to have an entire extra core there to power regardless of how much memory. So while you are upgrading the memory bandwidth, etc., you are also increasing the power requirements over like a single GPU with the same memory bandwidth, right? So that's kind of, I'm not sure that these basically are going to be any good for mining or not. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm leaning towards probably not that good. Probably not that good, but it's possible. It's possible. All right, so let's get into the ASIC mining not the ASIC mining profitability, GPU mining profitability. We'll start out with a 3090 here. The 3090 is up to $8.50 a day in profit after a 10 cents a kilowatt hour. And so that's not looking bad. We're sticking up above, way up above that $7 that we were stuck at for a while. And so it's nice to see the market recovering. Obviously, that's due to the increase of price of the Ethereum going up to like $4,700. Now let's check the 2080 Ti per usual, because the 2080 Ti is the only one where we've seen an altcoin outperform until yesterday. And we are back on top with Flux with the 2080 Ti coming out at $4.52 after 10 cents a kilowatt hour. So there you go. We are back above Ethereum on the 2080 Ti. It's nice to see at least some altcoins winning out on some GPUs, right? At least I think so. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 5700, which is what I have the most of. My assumption is we're still looking at Firo and Ethereum, with Ethereum taking a huge lead at $4.16 a pop after power costs at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. So there you go, boys. That is going to be sort of what we're looking at. I have 2 rigs offline right now. Super bad. It looks like they went offline last night. I had like 2 super busy days. It looks like it's a 3080 Ti rig, and this one didn't tell me why it rebooted. But it was also obviously dipping in hash rate. So we'll have to go ahead and like figure out. I'm leaning towards this one being the issue, GPU 2, which is a 3080 Ti, because it dipped down to 77 mega hash a second. And then if we take a look at my 5700 XT rig, which has been running for a long time and really good, we had GPU 2 report dead. So we probably have, this is the one that I had run on Ravencoin and had some issues with some of the GPUs, basically having some core degradation, having to bump up the voltage. My assumption is I'm going to have to come into here, take out this GPU 2, and probably bump this core voltage up to like 780. That's probably what's going to have to happen, or set it to stock. More than likely, that's what I've found is going on with the 5700s in particular. Once you start seeing either the GPU dead or the COM buff exit error within Team Red Miner. So that's just to give you guys an idea of what I'm going to go look at. Now, unfortunately, I got to get out there today, probably after jiu-jitsu and before picking up my son and going to do all that fun stuff. All right, so that pretty much calls it. We are down on profits right now, but we'll get that back up once we get those rigs back up. So we'll be back over 400, I'm pretty sure, once those 2 rigs are back online. Let's go ahead and sit down and answer some questions. Oh, I got it. Don't worry about me. I got it. All right. So first of all, thanks for the joins and the donations. I'm going to try to scroll up, get the thanks in. Sorry for the audio issues at the beginning. Sojin Z, thanks for the €1. Mining, thanks for the QAR74. Sojin, thanks for another euro. Mining, thanks for another QAR 184.99. And the mining, thanks for the QAR 729. I don't even know what QAR is. I guess I should Google it, huh? And then Nixie, thanks for joining the Suns at the tier 2 level. We are ready for questioning. PlanetVampire.com says, Son of a Tech, thank you for your tutorial on buying the AMI token. Probably made you a future millionaire. Vive is blowing up now and didn't know about it before your video. Cool. Glad to hear that. I unfortunately have just done guides and I have no idea how much AMI I own. Probably very little. Sebs is in the chat. Make sure you guys go follow Sebs FinTech, one of the best mining channels on YouTube. I will get a link. And he is definitely overtaking me and deserves it, I think, because he is getting out some solid content right now. Yeah, look at those views, buddy. You are looking good. Up to 616,000 views for the month. Congratulations, dude. Glad to see you being successful there. I'm going to try to stop bumping this table. I'm going to try my best. We're just going to scroll down and then like not touch the table. That's the goal. That's the goal here today until I get this table fixed. Alpha Black PB says, at Son of a Tech, do you think mining Raptorium will pay off down the road? No, I do not. Maverick Mining says, can't someone just start pushing out cards with HBM2 memory? Well, manufacturing's always been an issue for HBM2. And AMD tried many a times to get HBM2 rolling from a manufacturing standpoint. And it always made their cards more expensive and not perform as well, which is, I think, clearly why they made that switch to figuring out Infinity Cache to make up the memory bandwidth performance issues that they were dealing with. And I think that that's an important note when we're talking about, like, would there be HBM2 again? And while, you know, the high end, I guess, NVIDIA GPUs now are talking about HBM, I think that some are releasing with that. Once again, they're price prohibitive due to the manufacturing basically making it expensive. You know what I mean? Happy Dictator says, as Son of a Tech, Innosilicon should create mini ASICs in the form factor of a GPU. Well, that would be fun. I don't know if Innosilicon would do that. I think if you were going to, like, obviously probably a current ASIC manufacturer would do something like that. I don't know if the Innosilicon design to me doesn't look like it has targeted mining at all. To be clear, they don't seem like, if you look at the architecture and read like how they're designing these things, it does not look like they're targeting mining at all, or like high bandwidth memory performance. That doesn't look like what they're doing. Detroit Irish, always good to see you in chat. He says, at Son of a Tech Flux, is it easily converted to ETH or Bitcoin? I've got 8 2080 Ti's, but I'm wondering if it's really that much more profitable to mine Flux or better to keep it on ETH. So, like I said, here's what's interesting. Flux and the 2080 Ti. Here's what's interesting. We talked about this yesterday, and how, like, once ETH comes back, the 2080 Ti is worth, you know, more mining ETH, even if we're talking about previously. However, that being said, Flux has consistently, for the past 2 weeks, except for one day, been more profitable for the 2080 Ti. So there could be an argument there. As far as easy conversion, thanks to the Zelcore wallet, it does have super easy conversion with quick integrations from the Zelcore wallet to multiple exchanges and multiple swapping up options. So Flux, from that perspective, is good. It's easy to swap out, and the Zelcore wallet has always worked pretty good for me. I know some people have had issues with it, but they're also like the some people that have had issues with MetaMask, right? Zelcore is really easy to use. I don't know, for me at least. So, moving on. Alpha Black PB says, "Son of a tech, why do you think Raptorium will not make a good coin to mine?" I just don't. You can mine it. I just don't. Like, if we're looking at the project as a whole, what I see is just another Raven coin. And then what I see is it just needs more competition in the market. So luckily XMRig has up, but the miner's really not that good from XMRig yet. Hopefully they get some updates and allow you to use like all the threads on the current Ryzen processor. It has been not centralized, but all the distribution has been hasn't been very good. It's one pool, it's one miner. I realize that is going to take time. We're going to have to see how those things play out. When you see like a huge bump in like a small cap coin like that, though, it usually screams trouble for the future, because you're also going to, because the distribution is going to like basically the developers of Raptorium and that pool and that miner, which is presumably the same person, you are going to have dumping issues potentially. You're going to have rug pull issues. I just think it's a coin that you want to be cautious around, personally. That's how I feel about it. I'm not saying that it's a bad project. I'm just saying it's one that I would be super cautious around. That's it. CJ Vic says, "Outside of a tech, I just started an LLC to help with mining profit tax. You use a personal exchange account to convert to fiat, or is there one that will open an account under your business?" I guess so I'm not sure if you're talking about trying to find a bank. If you're trying to find a bank, call some local ones, see if they'll work with you. And then as far as like extracting out any crypto to fiat, I just use crypto.com. Their transfer options work really well in the United States. And then also, if I just need to basically pay rent or electricity or power, or, whatever, electricity or whatnot, right? I can just top up the Visa card and call it a day. Makes it super easy. Matt says, "At Son of a Tech, I opted to buy an 8-slot motherboard. Less I like having less wire management and the possibility to enclose everything in a case in the future. What are your thoughts on versus a typical riser setup?" You're talking about like full PCI slot motherboards. Like, they're great, but you'll never find a case for them unless the case was specifically made for them. And the thing is like, so I have those in like the Octominer. I have the 8 GPU Octominer and the 12 GPU Octominer. The 12 GPU Octominer I got with the case and everything. The 8 I did not. I can't even get a case for the 8 at this point. So you just have to like put it on a block and like set them there, or use a traditional riser system. So if you're going to go that route, you need to just make sure that you have the case ready to go right off the get-go. It's not something that you wait around on. So just keep that in mind. Like, if you're gonna want a case for it, get the case now. That would be my recommendation. Jacob Matson says, "At Son of a Tech, do you have any resources for learning about GPU components and how they function together?" I guess there's lots of resources on YouTube. I guess it would be specifics is what you need, I guess, is what I would be curious on. But yes, there's tons, like, let's see, actually hardcore overclocking is great. DeBauer is really, DeBauer, more for CPUs probably. There's lots of good channels out though. It'll help you get caught up. Jacob Burgess says, that son of a tech, Rabbit Mining just put out a video about RM rig that is on that unlock XM rig that it unlocked all the threads. Okay, I'll check it out. I just pulled up XM rig today. Let me look. 2 days ago. I swear I tested this one. I'll go try to test it again. Maybe something's off with my system. Or maybe because the old, I don't know. I'll go look. All right. Detroit Irish says, at Simon Tech, I think CJ was just asking if your crypto.com account is under your legal personal name or under SOAP. Right. So it's personally, and this wouldn't be financial information, blah, blah, blah. You got to, my crypto.com account is under me, and then I have an S corp. That would be correct. And then Clyde Tech says, at Son of a Tech, aren't RX 6600 more economical at the same price point as the 3090? You've got 6 of them, and they were $400 cheaper than one 3090 here in the UK. Why do people still want the 3090 when the 6600 is available? Well, because here you can get the 3090 cheaper than you can get the 6600s in equivalent. In addition to that, you have more density, right? So your 6x6600 is going to take up a whole six rail motherboard, right? For example. And then you're going to have what? 6 times 30, right? So you're going to have the, whatever, 6 times 30, 180 mega hash on a single rig with a single motherboard and the power supplies that require that, whatever, single processor. You go to a 3090, right? And at that point you would say, okay, 120 mega hash times 6. That same motherboard could be pumping out 720 mega hash for you, and you don't have to buy another CPU. That's the reasoning behind it. Your mileage may vary. It's one of those things where, like, the cost is, like, it's going to be up to you, right? The cost to whatever. And you're calculating your ROI, what's available in your specific area. Everything's going to change. But that would be the reason why. Let's see. Finn2 says, at Savatech, I received an offer for one of my Radeon 7s for $2,500. Would you take it? Yeah, I probably would. Primarily because, like, the Radeon 7s seem to be... Man, I've seen more issues with Radeon 7s than maybe they're worth. And they seem to definitely die more often than most other GPUs. So if you can get $2,500 off of it and let somebody else worry about how much life is left in it, then I would, personally. Badmanbot does bring up the very valid point of a 3090 will have a longer second-hand market lifespan, and that is very true. And that's because obviously it's the top of the line right now. Like, if you look at like the resale price of a 2080 Ti versus a 2060, right? That would kind of be what you're looking at, right? So that's always a fair point too. Nobody's saying don't buy the 6600s or that they're not good for mining. We're just giving you the reasoning why 3090s, a lot of people are going for 3090s instead. Yeah, the Radeon 7 is strong in hashing. But of everybody I know that's been mining, and for how long, the card I always hear that has the biggest issues and end up failing the most is the Radeon 7. They break easy. And like, so if somebody's going to give you $2,500 for it, Let them worry about when it's going to brick, not you. Right? Get a 3090. That's how I feel, right? Like, if I had a Radeon 7, someone's like, here's $2,500. I'm taking that $2,500. I'm just going to put it towards a 3090. I mean, I think most everybody in chat agrees with that too. Crackling says he'd probably take 1,500 on one. Yeah, I mean, what are they doing? I guess that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, they're like what? They're the same hash rate as a 3090, right? 105 to 120 megahash a second, depending on the overclocks and all that. I don't know, man. Yeah, I straight up trade that for a 3090. Michael C says, that son of a tech, any idea on places to pre-order 3090 Ti? Nope, no idea. Bite Burner, congratulations on upgrading from RX 580 to a 3090. Did you keep the 580 and is it still mining? 100 megahash a second with BIOS mod, said Happy Dictator. There you go. Also, we have to look at future coins after ETH on the 6600 versus the 3090. Yeah, that's kind of a problem too. So, my feeling on the 6000 series in general is that I don't think it's... How do I put it? I don't think that like the full potential has been met yet. From a mining perspective, even on Ethereum. I still feel like Infinity Cash could be leveraged by a miner. Or by a specific algorithm. But yeah, I mean, it's still not bad. Like if you look at miner stat, a 6600, if we drop down to a Cero, right? It's still $1.94 a day. If you drop down to Ravencoin, what? $1.27 a day, $1.30 a day. ETH is $2.44 a day. So somewhere around there. Also, we did forget to look at mining pool profits today. Let's go do that. Here we go. So, last 90 days, Ethermine, Mining Pool Hub, and Crazy Pool Hub. Last 60 days, Mining Pool Hub, Ethermine, and Crazy Pool. Last 30 days, Mining Pool Hub, Ethermine, and ZET. Last 21 days, Mining Pool Hub, Flex Pool, and Nano Pool. Last 14 days, Mining Pool Hub, Flex Pool, and Nano Pool. Last 7 days, Mining Pool Hub, Flex Pool, and Ethermine. Last 3 days, Mining Pool Hub, Nano Pool, and Flex Pool. And last day, Nano Pool, Mining Pool Hub, and Flex Pool. There you go. Kraken says, I don't believe Infinity Cash is addressable memory. You are correct, I believe. I think there's just cache between RAM and core would make it difficult to utilize short of building an algo that fits in 128 megabytes of RAM. Correct. But, so, where it could be used, and here's just an idea, right, Crackling? It could be used in Raptorium. And that's where I would see it being leveraged. Does that make sense? Because essentially what you're looking at is the same type of cache that you would see in your level 3 cache, your L3. That's the idea I had. That's the only possibility of anything that's currently out that I could think where you could see essentially this weird case where the 6000 series outperforms the CPUs and the GPUs when mining Raptorium. People are asking 6600. What is the hash rate? It's around 30 mega hash a second at 50 watts. Tim. I have one now, but I have not gotten to test it yet. It's also like 100 miles away. $100 away. And then I still have this 3070 Ti to test. Now, I'm curious. I actually reached out to Bits Be Trippin'. I don't know if you guys were taking a look at him upgrading to a whole bunch of ASICs. But we do see a huge GPU miner moving into ASICs. He's not getting rid of all of his GPUs, and it looks like he's upgrading his GPUs to A4000s and A5000s. I haven't gotten an A4000 or an A5000 yet. There seems to be a size limit where, like, I'm in an awkward position of being somewhere between a home miner and not a home miner, and I don't quite have the capital to do this. But it looks like the farm upgrade for him is shifting to the A5000 series and then ASICs. So just in case you guys are wondering. Yeti Crab says, at Son of a Tech, do you have any Vega 64s? No, I sold them all. Happy Dictator says, at Son of a Tech, saw the 6000 series reporting higher hash rates on Team Black Miner on Brandon Coin's channel. Yeah. Yeah. Team Black Miner is interesting. Michael C says, what chair are you sitting in? It's the Maxnomic. I didn't buy it, actually. The white chair is what I used to use. This I won at DreamHack Atlanta in 2018 from Red Hat. Yeah, I think BBT's going to liquidate all his RX 580s. All his Polaris cards. Detroit Irish says, Assam Attack group buy on A4000s. I don't know. I don't know how you would do a group buy. Don't support rats says Team Black Miner reports high like Phoenix did. Yeah, see, like, Team Black Miner does feel like Phoenix all over again to me. I'm very cautious around it. Not that I had necessarily a problem with Phoenix. It's just like it feels like it reports higher than it actually hashes at the pool. Jacob Burgess says, oh, yeah, talking to Happy Dictator. I do not have any price predictions about Ergo. And if you guys want to ask me a question, please tag me at Son of a Tech. Do I see myself getting big enough to do hosting of other people's rigs? I could host other people's rigs right now. I don't want to. I mean, the beauty of what I'm doing right now is, I guess I sort of answer to y'all as like a YouTube channel, but like as far as the businesses go, it's me and only me. I don't have to talk to anybody. If I don't want to answer a phone call, I don't have to answer a phone call. If I don't want to make a video, I don't have to make a video. If I want to just do jujitsu all day, I can just do jujitsu all day, and I don't have anything like any obligations. Let's say I have 2 rigs down right now that I have to go fix later today, but I had a rig down yesterday. I was busy. I already had like a 3-a-day workout, 3-time workout, whatever, planned. I was like, I'll take the loss on that rig. I have a priority of physical performance. This is already locked in. I'm going to go do it. If that rig was your rig and I was hosting it, I would have to go out there and fix it. And I'm sorry, but fuck that. Curtis Cargus says, that's Untitled off topic, but do you think chia farming is still worth it, or do you see the price going up in the future? I do not know about pricing. I'm not a trade analysis. The only reason I've ever done predictions like on Ravencoin was less about making a prediction on Ravencoin and more about basically getting people to click on something to learn about the Bitcoin super cycle. This is something that, like, I understand that type of video confuses people because they think, oh, well, he's going to do price predictions on that. And that's not what I do. What I do is try to figure out ways that are going to get people to click videos that are going to teach them about an overarching, like, idea within crypto, right? Like, to worry about a single price or, like, whatever, you guys can go watch trade channels. That's not what we do here. So most of bad man bot, do you have the ability to remote power cycle your rigs? Yes, through the PDUs. However, what we are actually looking at here is more than likely a failed grub. So it'll be putting it in your USB drive. Gallo Salami says, that's Untitled. I feel you. Freedom to play in your day is much better than earning a little extra income. Right, yeah, that's how I feel. CJ Vic says, that's Untitled. The other day I discovered that 3 of my 3060s are actually V1. They have been on Hive running with my other light hash rates. Do I have to move them to Windows with the dev driver? Hive is not possible. For the full unlock, you need dev driver version 470.05, only released for Windows. Happy Dictator says, ask Untitled, do you think Flux has a strong use case? I lost it. Hold on. To keep up with Ergo, I've been picking up 20 series cards for Flux. No, I think that Ergo has a stronger use case. It has a decentralized exchange and an auction house. Flux basically has a really good wallet. Diego says, at Sound of the Tech, what was your worst moment when what was your worst moment when crypto fall? What did I do? I kept working. I actually got depressed for a while. I quit doing YouTube and I just worked a day job. Pretty much like a lot of other people. Looks like it's going to wrap it up, boys. Detroit says, are USBs really worth it when you get 128 megabytes for M.2s for $30? Yes, because you can get 10 USB 2.0 drives for $30 in bulk. Kind of sucks because you got to swap them out, but you can get a lot more USB drives for a lot cheaper. Clyde Tech says, at Son of a Tech, what do you think will the 4000 series limit other algorithms like Ergo? I don't think they will. I don't know. It's possible. It depends, I guess, on how much manufacturing they get out. Because, like, if they get the 2 manufacturing plants up and they start solving, like, the supply chain issues on the manufacturing, they're going to want to sell more cards. I don't know. Mass says, off topic, any nonfiction book recommendations? Yeah, so I would do The Power of When and Don't Be a and those 2 I'm reading right now. I'm trying to remember. I had one more that was good for meditation, but I can't remember. Can't remember the name. Thanks for the $5, CJ Vic. I am headed to Jiu-Jitsu, boys. Light rolls today. We'll be having the clippings, coming out as we can. Keep you guys up to date as much as possible. I have a lot of testing to do, but we are getting into the holidays as well. So you guys enjoy your holidays. Don't get too distracted by social media and YouTube, and I'll try not to as well. And make sure you enjoy your families. I will see you next Tuesday.